What's going on? We are back again with episode 2. Trust me, we are not a one-hit wonder like every rapper that we hear nowadays. We're back at Wild Wild West Sports Blog with your host, James West, and my co-host, Spencer Nolan. Spencer, I hope you had a great sports weekend as I did. Got to hit a few golf balls, got to watch a few college basketball games, men's and women's, and an exciting NFL combine. How about yourself?
Yeah, I had a great weekend. If you caught the end of last episode, I went 3-1 on my bets last week, but I gave some specific ones. Like I woke up early on Saturday, watched Manchester City get me a dub 2-0 against Newcastle. That wasn't. They were very heavily favored, but if you bet it, you won. You made some money. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we counting it. And then I ended the night, watched John Jones. Undisputed GOAT of UFC, no doubt about it. What he did to Cyril Gane, who is an excellent fighter, who was the best heavyweight that the UFC currently has to offer, given that Ngannou, who's not in the promotion anymore, made light work of that man and just reminded us, like, that's what we were missing for the last 3 years, was that level of just scary. He's just a terrifying guy. John Jones, GOAT, no doubt about it. So, I had a good weekend as well.
John Jones, I kid you not, man. I don't know why. This is probably a bad comparison, but this man reminds me of The Undertaker in WWE. The man, you don't see him for 3 years, and he comes out and just wins, comes out and just wins. I swear it's like that every time. And I don't know what it is. This guy's record is perfect without all the drug, issues and all that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm still kind of like keeping a bated eye at like the news, waiting for just to. Oh, breaking news. John Jones tests positive for doping. He's violated anti-doping.
God dang it, dude. Again. So, just
either that or cocaine. It's one of those two. It's always doping or cocaine. Man can't stay off of it.
Ooh, man. This sounds like a hangover movie. But just wanted to start off by saying, hey, thank you for all the subscribers coming in. Hey, we'll take 4. Hey, I have no problem with 4. I'll take it. Everyone, thank you for following us, liking us on all social media platforms, and etc. Let's jump into the questions. After episode 1, we did have 3 questions. Of course, I'll take Spencer to question number 1 because he's a Texan fan. If the Texans do not want to draft a quarterback, even though I think they will, if they just feel like they don't want to draft a quarterback, who would you want drafted by the Houston Texans? Maybe not at 2. Let's just say they trade back to 10 or 12. Who would you want picked as your first player if it's not a quarterback?
If it's not a quarterback, at 2, I'm going Will Anderson. Really easy pick. A possible generation type of pass rusher that the Texans desperately need. Very, very, very weak pass rush last year. Weak in every aspect of the defense, and that's kind of the approach I would take. If you're going to stay at 2, you really can just go BPA, best player available for sure, because you have so many holes on your team. That being said, you can't not take a quarterback there. But I am okay with trading down from 2. I like the idea of that, especially with all these other teams that really need a quarterback. If Nick Caserio and DeMeco Ryans don't have someone they're like head over heels over, I could see him trading back. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Stock up on some picks, get some more picks for next year's draft, and maybe try to go after Caleb Williams, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, he'll be the hot one next year.
He's almost guaranteed to be the first overall pick, like even right now.
Yeah. No, I like that answer too. Yeah, if you're not going to go quarterback, definitely it's time for the trenches. And, you see defensive line and offensive line take over games in playoff situations as always, except the Super Bowl. No one played defense. Whatever. Okay, I'm not talking about Super Bowl again. So our question number 2 that we had gotten was it was aimed to me if I had like Bijan Robinson as a fit for the Eagles. Now, if you're asking me the fit, yes, I think it's a nice fit because we're going to lose Miles Sanders. We're not going to pay him after a career year. We're probably going to go Kenneth Gainwell. But me, honestly, I'd rather go a different direction. I'd rather, go with either it's going to be offensive line to replace either Kelsey or Lane Johnson as they're up there in age. Second would be defensive line. We're losing a ton of guys to free agency, or linebacker or cornerback. So that's where I would go with the 2 picks in the first round. If it's me, I'm looking for Darren Sproles 2.0, Deuce Vaughn out of Kansas State. And that's it. That's all I want. I saw him play against Alabama. I saw him play against everyone in the Big 12. That's my guy. I like Deuce Vaughn. And then my third question that we had got was, of course, how did I become an Eagles fan when I was born and raised in Houston, Texas? And I'll keep it short and simple for everyone. I'll keep it short and simple. All right. Back when I got back in, once I started to learn how to read the newspaper, sports page, etc. At the time I was getting into sports. In '99, there were no Texans. The Oilers had they just dipped to Tennessee, so we had no Houston team. And if I had to say one thing my father did right in my life, he raised me not to be a Cowboy fan. He said, "There's one thing in this house, you will not be a Cowboy fan." So he told me to pick my team, and I said, "All right, Dad." I was like, "Who wears green?" And he says, "Philly, Seattle, it's Green Bay, and it's the Jets." I was like, okay. So I'm looking at their records. They all, at the time, I forget who was good, who wasn't. I think the Packers were at least the best. But I didn't like the yellow. I didn't like the blue in Seattle. So it was really the Jets or the Eagles. And I went with the Eagles because of Donovan McNabb. Not because of him himself. It's just because his last name is McNabb, and my middle name is McAdams. And that is the only reason why I went with them. Is because of the connection between the Mick and that's it, and Green. That's it. That's who I've rolled with, and I'm wearing the polo, and I got a Super Bowl 52 tattoo on my leg. So
I can respect that. I can respect that as someone who I don't like playing fan police. Over the years, I've kind of shied away from it. Like when I was a teenager, I mean, this. I argued with everyone like, you have to have loyalty. You have to pick a city, and that's the city you have to cheer for. That's your team. Any cheer for anyone else, you're a bandwagon. You're a fair weather. Over the years, I've kind of shied away from that. Cheer for who you want to cheer for. I could really care less. But I will say, I respect the people that stick by a team. You can bandwagon a team, but you have to stick by them through thick and thin.
Trust
me. And the reasons you pick them can't be, they won a championship. I started getting into the sport, and this was the team that won the championship, so I decided to pick them.
Yeah.
I don't like that being your reasoning for it either, unless it's for like English Premier League soccer. And the only reason I say that is because that's exactly how I became a Manchester City fan. So I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but that's different. It's literally a different country. All right. I have no allegiances over there. I had to pick some team. I'm not going to pick one of the bottom feeding Premier League teams. So aside from that, I can respect your fandom. Even though it is a bit all over the map, it
is like I truly deep down, like I wish I liked every team born and raised in Houston, Texas, and all that, because it would be so much simpler in life. But that's how my brother became an NFL fan. He loved the Buccaneers beating the Raiders in that one Super Bowl, and we had Bucs gear. Then who won the next year? The Patriots. And guess what? We had Tom Brady jerseys and we had Patriot gear. But then my brother stuck with the Patriots forever. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, those are the three questions. Once again, hey, right below, ask us any questions. TikTok, IG, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You say it, we'll answer it. We have no problem with that. Now, getting into the sports weekend, oh man, there was so much going on this weekend. Here, Spencer. Hey, here comes this. Look, we got LPGA. Young Ko beating Nelly Korda by 2 strokes. We had Kirk Kitayama winning the Arnold Palmer by 1 stroke against Greg McElroy. This guy almost lost it, Spencer, with a triple bogey on the 9th hole. So I'm surprised he came back and won. We also have A&M upsetting Alabama.
That was huge.
I will say I kind of predicted this with the Iron Bowl win. Of course, everyone's number one pick over here. We got Anthony Richardson blowing up the boards. This man right here is a definition of a true athlete. If this guy was on my basketball team, he is my number one pick for sure. He definitely won over the combine. And then lastly, of course, as we mentioned, John Jones. I will admit I didn't even watch it. Like I was looking for the Twitter live feed, and then all of a sudden they said it was over. And I said, what is going on here? I didn't even get to watch it.
Next time you need a stream, I got you. We don't break the law here on this stream. Here at Wild West Sports, we keep it correct. But on the side, I might just hit me up on the side next time. I got you, bro.
Definitely. But I will. I will give out 2 shout outs. Definitely. One to Kelsey Plum and Darren Waller. They got married this past weekend. It looked very beautiful.
I had no idea they were even dating, but like that kid, D1, you know it already.
That kid's going D1.
D1.
Yeah. And then I'll give another shout out to the South Carolina women's basketball finishing the season undefeated. They'll probably run through the SEC, and then they actually I think they do have a chance to be one of the first teams to win the title, if so undefeated since I think UConn back in 15 and 16. And then they'll be the 4th program in women's history to win back-to-back if they win this year. Spencer, you got anything else on the recap for your weekend of sports that you'd like to mention as I did?
I mentioned at the top, there was a lot of good Premier League action. I'm going to shove soccer down y'all's throat, man. We're going to make it happen here in America.
We need some soccer, man.
We do. Now, the MLS is not going to ever really take off here, but I think we can get some interest in the Premier League. And I do have some little sneak preview for our bets at the end of the show. I got some more soccer pictures there. But
all right. Okay.
Yeah, I woke up early, watched a lot of good Premier League this weekend. Caught a great game on Saturday night between the Bucks and the Sixers. Came down to the wire. James Harden masterclass put it on the Bucks. It was a huge game, and they came out with the dub. It was a great game. And then, of course, we mentioned John Jones, but the rest of the card was really good as well. The women's fight right before that, Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso came out and pulled off a major upset. She was like 8-1 odds, something crazy like that. Had no business winning, but she took her back and submitted her real quick. And they did a slow-mo replay, and you could see the white, the blood rushing to her jaw because she was being held so tight. It was very intense, and she pulled off a great upset. So it was a great card. That was really my big takeaways from the weekend. And, of course, we'll get into all the combine stuff here in a little bit.
Yeah. And that's the first topic of the day. It's the NFL Combine recap. Ton of guys, I like the combine for the guys that, we don't get to watch every Saturday on ABC, ESPN, NBC, and Fox. I like the combine for those reasons. Of course, there was a ton of speed, it looks like, on the running back side. I seen a Nebraska Cornhusker receiver, Trey Palmer, former LSU receiver. I remember I think he won receiver 40-yard dash crown this year. There was a ton of talent out there. Spencer, I'll give you the floor for the combine because I will admit I didn't watch much. I did watch to see my boy Bryce Young weigh at 204 pounds, whatever it was. But I'll let you take the floor for the combine recap.
Yeah, so my biggest takeaways, everyone, of course, all eyes going into the weekend was about Bryce Young. What's he going to weigh in at? And I believe he did weigh in about, 204?
Something? Like 204. And he was a 5'10" and a quarter.
Yeah, so he came in looking like Kyler Murray. That's what his pro comp has been through this whole process. So that was big. But with that, the only thing that was disappointing to me about that, now, remember from last episode, I kind of floored you that he's my QB3.
Yeah.
I kind of floored you. There's a reason I believe that, because think about it like this. He was the only one of those big-name quarterbacks in this year's class, Richardson, Stroud, Young, Levis. He's the only one that didn't throw. Now, I know
I don't like it. Yeah.
That's becoming more of a trend every year in the combine as guys aren't throwing as much. But this year, Stroud, Levis, and Richardson all threw in the combine. Why wouldn't Bryce Young throw?
I agree. I didn't see any shoulder injury indications from the Arkansas game leading up to even the Sugar Bowl, because he played well in the Sugar Bowl. He looked like he was ready to walk in for #1 draft pick. But I agree. I'm not a fan of, if you're invited to the combine, I feel like you got to do everything, unless, like, for example, I think what Quentin Johnson, the receiver from TCU, he had a hamstring injury, so he wasn't going to run the 40. And I'm okay with those, but if you're not hurt, I think you should definitely play. That's also like one of my things about bowl games. Like, I know people don't want to get hurt. I've seen examples of dudes get hurt in the bowl game and their stock plummet. But hey, if you're there, you got to show up. That's me. But I do agree. I'm pretty sure he'll throw. He'll definitely throw on the pro day.
Yeah,
he'll probably throw on the pro day a little lighter.
My thing with that though is he didn't throw, and so he didn't move up or down in any rankings. But Stroud, Levis, and Richardson all put on an absolute clinic. Stroud was dropping 60-yard bombs right in the bucket like it was nothing. We know about the weekend Richardson had, and honestly, Will Levis, he was ripping that thing too. He looked really good. Now, everyone looks good in shorts and the tank top.
Does, yeah.
Everyone looks good. But to me, they all showed what their arm talent truly is, and that's been a question mark with Bryce Young. Is that arm really that talented? I forgot who it was, but it's Todd McShay of ESPN called Bryce Young a short Patrick Mahomes, and I just don't see that. I don't see that.
I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, I see Bryce Young just as Kyler Murray. I see him not as Tua, but as the questions on Tua's arm strength. The same thing. Like you know, he can throw it there. He can get you the 10-yard sling. He can get you the 20-yard post route. But what is he going to do throwing the ball 50 yards? And so I've always related, Bryce with Kyler as well. And I know I was shocked. I was a little disappointed that he didn't throw, but I know he'll throw for the pro day, and of course he'll throw to some Alabama receiver. But other than that, who else jumped out to you on your recap besides Anthony Richardson? Because I swear he's number one. Hell, the Bears are going to trade Justin Fields now. They're going to get Richardson.
They might. It might be on the table. So a couple other guys that I really was impressed with. Two of them are Georgia guys, which should be no surprise. They are a continuous just powerhouse of just putting out NFL talent. But edge rusher from Georgia, Nolan Smith, a 4.39 40-yard dash as an edge rusher. That's terrifying.
What's in the water? Like what's in the water in Athens?
I have no idea.
I want some of that Michael Jordan juice so I can, get ready.
Yeah, what's Kirby Smart feeding those guys, man?
We need some real NCAA investigation.
And then the other Georgia guy that wowed me during their blocking drills was tight end Darnell Washington. Did you catch that clip of him doing the sled drills?
I didn't see him do the sled drill. I seen him run and do that one-handed catch. I saw that part.
Yeah, that's a terrifying man. He ran a 4.64 at 6'7", 264 pounds. But the blocking drill was insane. You watch all these other tight ends, they get under the shed and the sled and they're pushing it. He literally is picking the sled up and driving it like 10 yards with ease. He looked unlike any other tight end doing that rep.
What's crazy? You know what's crazy about him? As they all say, he was the second best tight end on his team because everyone's waiting on Gronk 2.0 and Brock.
Right.
That guy. Oh my God. But yeah, I definitely agree that there are definitely some standouts for sure.
Yeah.
The draft will be great. I can't wait to do the episode where we just do one mock. We'll do one mock. We'll probably do it definitely the week of.
Yeah.
No more topics. Just boom. We'll do the mock. We'll see what we like.
Looking forward to it.
We'll hop in. Spencer, take the lead on this topic, the free agency predictions for running backs and receivers. Now, yes, we've all heard Saquon's got tagged. Jacobs got tagged. People getting signed left and right. But instead of looking at the free agency, because we both agree this is a weaker class, we look at some other guys that are probably going to get traded maybe on draft day. So, Spencer, you let me know who you got on the list, and we'll go through some predictions.
Yeah, so I've got four guys I want to talk about. All have been, in the rumor mill for a while. Actually, not all of them for a while. The first one I want to talk about just recently popped up into the news this week. So there's rumors that the Titans are floating around Derrick Henry in trade talks. I know you're a big Derrick Henry guy. It's funny.
Henry.
Yeah.
Man,
so
let's hear that.
So a little background on that for our listeners. So way back in the day when Derrick Henry was coming out of the draft, I threw out a tweet that I said Derrick Henry is not an NFL running back and he's too slow. And James, rightfully so, called me out and called me stupid. And you know what? I've never forgotten that. I was so dead wrong on Derrick Henry. He, for a while, was obviously the best running back in the league. Still might have some of those years left in him. He's getting up there in age. He's got a lot of tread on those tires.
He's got a lot of tread from high school, too. It's not even like just the NFL and college. Like, even high school.
Yeah.
He's got I think he's got the rushing record in the state of Florida. And then the year he won the Heisman, I think he rushed for 50 attempts against Auburn, 40 attempts against Florida. They made sure to run him to the ground.
Yeah.
I remember actually, because I remember that was the same draft class with Zeke, and everything measured up, I thought, And I just thought, Zeke ran like 0.08 faster than Henry, but Henry is like 40 pounds heavier. And of course, you can see, running backs right now getting drafted. Last time was Zeke. At 4, everyone thought it was going to be Zeke running the ball all day, which he did the first couple of years, but now you see him treading off. And I think, like you said, Spencer, Derrick Henry's got a lot of tread right now, and he is. It might be that time where he just get 1 or 2 good more seasons out of him, and then
So I have a destination I like for him a lot, but I want to hear yours first. You have a destination in mind where you would like to see, or where you think Derrick Henry might end up next year?
So I would like for him to be in Buffalo. That's my pick. I think it was Jeremy Fowler, I think is his name on ESPN. And I was like, I like the pick too. But then I was thinking about it, like every season, Josh Allen, this offense is they're explosive, this, and that. But then they always say the thing is that they don't have a running game. Now I'm not going to blame their running back, group. I feel like that might be the offensive coordinator, just putting the ball where, the best players are. And that's Stephon, and that's, Gabe, and that's Allen and Knox and all of them. So, but I like Henry there just to be that catalyst guy. Cause everyone in the playoffs, they'll pin their ears and come at Josh Allen, but regular season. Yeah. I like Henry there as a trade. Yeah. Trade maybe. Well, you might. I don't know about a first round. You might have traded first round, second round.
And that's one thing that's going to be interesting about any Derrick Henry trade is what is that compensation looking like? Mm-hmm. But I do like Buffalo as a pick a lot. They're definitely, any running back that's available in trade talks, you can just put Buffalo Bills as a potential fit for them. Any of the
Bills or the Chiefs. It seems like everyone goes to the Chiefs. So throw the Chiefs down there.
Yeah. So, but my pick for Derrick Henry, and I like this one a lot. I like him, same division, but with New England. I like him. He takes the pressure off of Mac Jones, who I think for him to succeed, I think he needs a running game that's rock solid behind him. They're about to lose Damian Harris in free agency. They have Ramondre Stevenson, who at times last year was very wishy-washy. They drafted a couple day 3 guys last year in the draft. I can't even think of their names, but I don't think any of them are locked down that role. But if you trade for Derrick Henry, Bill Belichick, we know, loves the elite talent of the NFL. He's a fan of the game ultimately. And I think he could be on board with a Derrick Henry trade. Again, the compensation is going to matter. Bill Belichick loves his draft picks. But if it's maybe like a 3rd or a 4th, maybe I can see that deal going down easily. I like him a lot in New England, which also reminds me, one of our comments said that I completely disregarded the Patriots on last episode. I absolutely disregarded them because who's their quarterback? Who's their quarterback? Mac Jones. This is a quarterback-driven league. I don't believe in Mac Jones even a little bit. I think he is what he is, and we've seen him. I think we've already seen him at his peak. I'm not sure how much better that guy can really get. You got benched for Bailey Zappi.
Oh gosh, here we go with this again. So, all right. Well, we'll see. Who's the next guy you got on the list?
Next name on the list again, another one that's been kind of on the rumor mill since the season ended. DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
Where do you like DeAndre Hopkins going?
Oh man. I'm trying to imagine someone trading for someone, but you know what? Hey, why not? Why not New Orleans? Hey, you got Olave, and then put D Hop on right next to with Derek Carr. I like that fit, just to be that explosive offense to help out that defense. I know Michael Thomas is out of there. He has. I don't even know when the last time this guy played. So
part of me might think he might be a free agent.
I think
could be wrong.
Agent, but your later years are gone with him. I like New Orleans as that fit. If I had to pick another destination. Maybe no. I was going to say the Jaguars, but with Calvin really getting reinstated, I think they're okay. They're okay right there.
Yeah. So my pick for DeAndre Hopkins, it's been the one I've seen kind of mentioned the most on Twitter. I love him in Baltimore. Depending on what they do with Lamar, at this point, the news came out today. They're going to franchise tag him, the non-exclusive tag. He'll play for $32 million this year unless a deal can get reached. Side note, I don't think any trade's going to happen. We talked about it last episode. Atlanta already came out and said they're not going to pursue him.
Atlanta's out. I think the Texans said they're out.
Bears
are out. So
there's a lot of teams that came out and said they're not going to pursue him. So I think ultimately he either ends up back in Baltimore or he could just hold out the whole season like Deshaun Watson did because he knows he can get that guaranteed money. But so that's on the side. If the Ravens brass wants to keep Lamar in town and wants to keep him happy, what better way to do that than to finally get that man a true number one receiver? Has he had that in his entire career in Baltimore?
Yeah, and don't tell me some 39-year-old Deshaun Jackson. I don't want to hear it.
Or even last year, Hollywood Brown, who just was traded to the Cardinals, ironically enough, to be the number 2 wide receiver to who? DeAndre Hopkins. So I think the trade makes a lot of sense. He gives them that solidified number 1 go-to option on the outside. You got Mark Andrews working up the middle. Lamar Jackson, you know how dynamic he is. If he can stay healthy, I love that fit for him. So on to the next one. So we got 2 more wide receivers.
All right.
Ooh. And this one hits a little close home to me. So I'm going to let you take this one. Brandon Cooks, almost guaranteed to get traded this year. Where's
he was trying to get out this year. He was like, he said, man, he was hoping he was going to get traded.
And I don't blame him. I don't blame him even a little bit.
You know what? If I'm being honest, I'm only going to say this team. If Aaron Rodgers stays, I'm going with the Packers. I think as Lazard is on the free agent side. So, I mean, yeah, Brandon Cooks may be a little taller than, Randall Cobb, but I like Cooks and I like Watson and I like Cobb out there. If they can get Lazard, then it'd be perfect. That's who I'm going with. I like him to be with a team that he can compete for. I don't want to say, the Rams or, any of these other teams, because anyone can get Brandon Cooks, but if you really need someone, go get him, Green Bay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. If Rodgers stays, that makes a lot of sense. But for me, I think Brandon Cooks, we know his game is speed. He's one of the fastest receivers in the league. The Cowboys were very heavily interested in him last year throughout the season, but they have an offensive coordinator change through this offseason, so who knows where that's going to put them, where their priorities are. Yeah. The team I love for Brandon Cooks, a team that you might think on the surface has great receivers, but they lack a lot of speed, and that's I almost said the wrong city. The Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said San Diego.
Yeah, you almost said San Diego. No, I like the pick. I mean, with Allen, man, he's never healthy at the moment. And then you got, all the receivers are usually never healthy.
And the thing is, with both of those guys, neither of them are speedster guys. No. Both of them are very much, slow, intermediate type routes, but they're not going to take the top off of defense. You put a guy like Brandon Cooks in the equation, can take the top off the defense. We know Herbert's one of the at least 5 best quarterbacks in the league, no doubt about it. That arm is elite. He can put the ball 60 yards down the field for Cooks right in the bucket for him. I love that fit for him. And, they were already rumors about Keenan Allen getting released. They've kind of squashed that. He's going to be part of the team for this year, but that doesn't mean next year would be different.
Yeah.
So right. I like that fit for them. Again, you put Keenan Allen in the slot. You got Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks on the outside. That's a team that can compete with the Kansas City Chiefs in division.
Yes, I like that. And the last one. Give us the last one.
Last one, and this is a big one. Ooh. T. Higgins. A lot of rumors coming out. He's due for a new contract. This is his last season under contract with the Bengals. He's going to get paid. Who's going to be the team that pays him, though?
That is the question. Man, I don't know who will pay him, but if I had to say someone, what's funny? We were just talking about this team trading for Henry. Go for it and trade for T. Higgins, New England. If you believe in Mac Jones and you believe in Bill O'Brien and giving him an offensive coordinator that can give New England the best chance to win, go for it. I mean, T. Higgins is a great number 2 receiver. He'd be number 1 in most teams. I mean, heck, he would replace Devontae Smith on my Eagles, and he'd be number 2 with AJ Brown if I wanted it like that. But no, I like New England just to help Mac Jones out. I don't think Cincinnati would trade within the division. So best case, I would say, man, also, hey, go out to either New Orleans or the Giants. I like the Giants, actually.
That's a good spot as well. I'm bringing T. Higgins close to home. I'm bringing him to Houston.
Oh man, who's
I
gonna
believe.
throw him that ball?
So here's the thing.
Oh, it's Ainsley Richardson. I forgot.
Yeah, here's the thing though. T. Higgins, I believe, and this might get ready for this one. I've said this for a long time. I believe T. Higgins is a top 10 wide receiver in the league.
Really? Okay.
The Bengals are blessed with 2 top 10 guys. T. Higgins doesn't get all the flair because of how great Jamar Chase is. And I'm not saying he's better than Jamar Chase, but any given week, he can put up and outproduce more than Jamar Chase can. So to me, he's top 10 talent easily. The list of guys that have the most contested catches in the league since 2020, Mike Williams, T. Higgins.
Okay.
Those are the 2 best contested guys. So what better for a rookie quarterback than to get a guy that they know they can just throw it up for, and he's going to win most of his 50-50 balls. I love the fit for him. In fact, I would even go so far to say at pick 12, T. Higgins is better than any receiver you're getting at pick 12. He's better than Addison. He's better than Johnson. He's better than JSN. He's better than all of those guys. I easily trading number 12 overall for T. Higgins. And I think that makes sense because last year Philly traded 20 overall for A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown, look where it led us. I mean,
So T. Higgins, he's a Texan.
Okay, I like that. I like that pick. We're gonna skip. I mean, I wanted to talk about this reactions of the QB contracts. I know Geno just got a good contract. I like his structure. 50 mil the first year as they got the 2 picks in the first round. So I like that. And then, as it tailors off, I like that for them. The Giants one, I can't get over. Me, honestly, I'm just going to make it short and simple. Just because the market says pay guys 40, 45 million, you do not have to pay 45 million. It's almost like the example. Just because you live in Mississippi does not mean you can price your house at LA value. It does not work.
That's fair, but let me. I have some numbers here in front of me. So I like you. I was kind of like, wow, they really gave Daniel Jones $40 million. But let me just rattle some names off for you. So I'm looking at the top paid quarterbacks in the league right now.
I'm gonna get pissed. I'm gonna get pissed at this list. Yeah.
So would you rather have Daniel Jones or Matthew Stafford?
I go Daniel Jones. Yeah.
They're both making $40 million. So. What about Dak Prescott or Daniel Jones?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go Dak. I'm gonna believe. I'm gonna believe like last year with all the pick issues.
Yeah, I'm going Dak there as well. But now let's start talking about guys making less than Daniel Jones right now. Just a little bit though. There's 2 guys I want to get your take on.
Okay.
We just know Derek Carr just signed for $37.5 million a year. You taking Daniel Jones or Derek Carr?
I'm going Derek Carr. Yeah.
See,
I'm
going Daniel Jones there.
I will give Daniel Jones this. He balled out. Like, you know how most people get paid too much over their resume? He balled out at the right time. So I'm okay with like that as an answer. I just don't think, maybe next year with, Dayball, he does well. And then he might prove me wrong. It's just right now, it's just, I even though, Daniel Jones got more playoff wins than Carr and all that. I've seen Carr's resume more as a better passer than Jones, and Jones is also improving on holding on to the ball. So I'm gonna go Carr.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Daniel Jones there, but again, these are all kind of guys like in that same kind of category.
Yeah.
Last one, I want your opinion on Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones. They literally met in the playoffs this year. Which one are you taking?
Man, part of me wants me to say Kirk Cousins, but I'm gonna go Daniel Jones, man. This man can't win no primetime games, man. I can't. At least Daniel Jones can win, so I'll go Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think it's really close, but I think those two quarterbacks are right in that area where if you're better than Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones, you would be what I would consider an elite quarterback. And if you're worse than those 2 guys, I think you're a trash quarterback. That's kind of like the line I kind of put. It's like Kirk Cousins and Daniel Jones. How you feel about them? It's on either side of the spectrum.
Yeah, I just have a big gripe with these NFL organizations. I get it. The quarterback's the most valuable position, but that doesn't mean you're paying Daniel Jones, Pat Mahomes money because, you're not paying Daniel, even though I don't agree with Kyler's contract. I don't agree with Deshaun's contract. I don't even agree with Russell's. I don't agree with even Aaron Rodgers. Like
the highest paid quarterback in $50 million a year.
I just don't. Like, I mean, you might convince me, Aaron, but like I mean, how are you going to take $50 million and you're like 38, 39 years old? You're hurting the team. I mean,
and it's crazy to think that's how the league has progressed, where it's become so much. Like, you would think a quarterback in their, year 6, year 7, year 8, that would be their prime time to contend. That's when they've developed the most. But really, the time to contend is your first 5 years in the league as a quarterback, when you're on that rookie contract and your team can spend and spend and spend to give that cast around you. But once you get paid, that cap space is gone.
It's gone. Yeah. A prime example, Philly, we're about to find out real soon. Don't get me wrong. As much as I want to say pay Jalen Hurts, figure out a way to pay him in a style that Pat Mahomes, give him the 10-year and find a way to break it up. Because in my honest opinion, as average Americans as we are, what's the difference between 50 million and 20 and 30 million?
For me, not much.
It's not much, but some people might say something different. But so we'll see. I do agree. You got to compete the first 5 years of the rookie contract, and that's why I wouldn't give Lamar the long contract now. But we'll see what happens with that. We're going to move on to the next one. Unfortunately, this is a horrible situation. Ja Morant. I know Spencer. Hey, I put it on the clip. Hey, let's not go down that path, Ja. And Ja, you went down that path. Like, man, I can't get over it. I mean, trust me. I hope he gets all the help he can. X, Y, and Z. But I just deep down, when it comes to being an athlete, a celebrity, a famous person, X, Y, and Z, you're going to be scrutinized. Everyone is looking at you to fail left and right. And how, and even someone had brought it up, people, of color, everyone rocks with, bringing in guns because it thinks it's cool. But then you got the topic of, the gun violence and, in the whole state. And I'm not trying to get political, but it's just those two perspectives, those optics that everyone looks at. And it's like, you're an NBA player, you got your shoe line, you're about to, you're about to get signed big, this and that. And you're out there in the nightclub packing a gun, this and that.
Yeah.
It's sad for me because, like I said, everyone's waiting for you to fail, and I hope Ja gets the help. I know everyone wants to blame his father for quote unquote being his boy instead of his dad, but at the end of the day, it was supposed to be a 2-game suspension. Now he's out on his own timeline. Hopefully, he can get the help that he can before playoffs, because I like Memphis in the playoffs, like, to make some noise, depending on the seeding. But how do you feel about the Ja situation after the Instagram video?
Yeah, I think you hit on all the main points for me. He definitely needs help. He definitely needs to get some things in order. He probably needs to cut ties with some of the toxic people in his life. But however you want to look at it, from whatever angle, like you said, we're not trying to get political here. That's not how we do things. But however you want to look at it, no matter how you cut it, this is a huge distraction for that team, a team that was definitely in contention to win the West. I almost think this is something that would be such a distraction. It can get everyone out of whack. I'm not going to pick them probably to go out of the second round.
I agree. I'm with you right now. Yeah, second round is the ceiling for me, because I just don't see the distractions, jumping over that hurdle of Phoenix or
a Golden State team at maybe the 6th seed or the 7th seed.
Heck, even the Lakers coming out of the blue, which I hope LeBron gets well too. So I want to see the Lakers, man.
What happened to the most important 23 games of his career, man? He's hurt for all of them. Oh, my God.
But, no, I totally agree. Ja, I hope you get the help that you need. Hope you find as a sports psychologist just to answer some of these questions. And, hey, at the end of the day, you have the money to pay for a better security if you feel threatened out there. You don't have to – just be yourself, man, out there. That's all we're going to say. Now we're going to jump to a different topic. This is NIL Talk. This is on the college side. Everyone loves name, image, and likeness. But the other day, it might have been probably like a week ago, the NCAA punished. Now, you think it might be a football team. You think it might be some. They punished women's basketball, Miami Hurricanes, the Cavinder twins. I forget their names. I think it was Haley, and I forget the other girl's name. Spencer.
I want to say it's Savannah.
Hey, Spencer. Hey, there.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me, my man. I'm a big fan of the Cavinder twins. I love them.
Oh
I
yeah,
love.
man.
Let's get their names up. Let's get their names.
Yeah, I think one's for sure is Haley. But to just go on the story, they got slapped with a light penalty for a dissociation boosters that got them to come to Miami from Fresno State. The NCAA couldn't, they couldn't really find significant evidence because now with NIL rules now, this is not supposedly a penalty. The NCAA said they were going to look into it as trying to find more disassociation boosters so this doesn't happen in the game. Miami got punished with, I think it was like a $5,000 fine, and then on top of it, they're a 1% from their payroll. I think this is crazy because you're telling me no one in the football of college got in trouble. No one did anything worse than what they did. So give me your takes on the NIL and just how do you feel about even at all? Because me personally, I love the NIL for the players. I have no problem with that. Of course, as always, I'm side with my boy Nick Saban. There needs to be some regulations, some rules around it because, if A&M can quote unquote pay everyone and still go 6-8, how are they not getting penalized for even? Because what happened was with the Cavinder twins, they went out on a dinner date with the quote unquote booster, and that's what probed this investigation back in March. And now it just got, they just found out, the settlement, what it was the other day. So what do you feel about the NIL?
Well, first off, it's Haley and Hannah. I would never want to disrespect
you were close, Savannah, Hannah. I'll give you that.
I would never want to disrespect the Cavinder twins. That's never going to be my intention. I would love to respect both or either of them.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I think I'm like you said, I'm a big fan of these college athletes getting paid in some capacity. And I think NIL is still relatively new as a concept and being put in practice. It's definitely relatively new. It's only been like 2 or 3 years. So yeah. I think they're still trying. They got some things to iron out for sure, but I'm all for it. The amount of money that these athletes make for their universities is just crazy, and they never saw a cent of it. So there needs to be some regulations. I definitely agree with you there, but overall, I don't think something like this can be something that you use in an argument against having NIL there in some capacity. Yeah. Now you're right. We know it's probably going on far more egregiously in football, and it's just not getting talked about.
Basketball, like it's women's basketball. No defense to them, but in football,
there's no chance. I mean, but we know football. Most of these universities, the football program is what pays for everything. It builds the stadiums, builds the facilities, all of that stuff. So to come down on a women's basketball team like this it's a little irky to me. It rubs me the wrong way for sure.
All right, we're going to come into our last topic. Now, Spencer, Friday night, we had a no-hitter in MLB spring training. It was the Cubs and the Padres. Now, there were 7 pitchers that combined for this no-hitter. Now, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, a no-hitter is a no-hitter. How do you feel when it's a combined like 7 or 6 people instead of like maybe just one? Like, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's still going to be a no-hitter, but who do you congratulate out of the 7 guys or 6 guys that did that no-hitter? Because at the end of the day, what holds more value is the one, but what is your take on that?
So how many hits did the other team have that game?
The other team have that game. Ooh, you're going to have to do some research.
Well, no, I mean, there's no research. Yeah, it's 0. They had 0 hits. They had no hits. So to me, the no-hitter is just as impressive. And I love this topic because the Astros literally just had a combined no-hitter in the World Series. And I saw plenty of Phillies fans get on it's not a real no-hitter. And that's the exact question I would pose to them. If it's not a real no-hitter, how many hits did your team get? Like how many?
Hey, I just want to know because because I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, that's cool, no hitter. But I needed to find out from someone who dives more deep in the baseball than I. Because, like you said, at the end of the day, it's still 0 hits. And
it's definitely more impressive when it's one person. But what happened to Christian Javier in the World Series, and it's a great problem to have. The reason they took him out, his pitch count was getting high. Because he kept striking everyone out. When you have to throw at least 3 pitches to strike someone out, right? So when you're racking up all these strikeouts, you're racking up your pitch count too. So yes, he had some walks in there too, and that kind of contributed to it being a no-hitter and all that stuff. That's fine. But he actually did it earlier in the season, in the regular season. in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, you're right. You really only want to congratulate one person, but what about a guy that is part of 2 combined no-hitters in the same season, one of which in the World Series? To me,
Yeah,
I
the
think
World Series one, that was unreal. Like,
it's only the second time it ever happened in MLB history. Now, the first time was all-time epic, was way back in the black and white camera days. I forget the guy's name, but he actually threw a perfect game in the World Series. That's never happened since then. So a combined no-hitter is still absolutely iconic. So to me, a combined no-hitter, it's more of a team award is the best way I can describe it, whereas a no-hitter is more of like you celebrate the pitcher. But you're just as hyped to see your team no-hit a team.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, man. No, I'm glad. Yeah, because of course, it's spring training. So everyone's just gonna throw that away. Because it's not the regular season or postseason or the World Series. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for this baseball season coming up. I mean, it's coming up soon. Hopefully for the next episode. I think the next episode we'll let all you fans, family, haters, subscribers.
Bring the haters. We want more haters. Haters.
Hey, the next episode, we're gonna make sure me and Spencer we create this March Madness bracket. We want everyone to join. We'll get all the finer details ironed out in the later of the week as we come up with the next episode. But we just want y'all to know, hey, again, comment below on the YouTube video, comment on the the TikTok videos, the Instagram reels. Give us your questions. Give us your takes. We will answer. I have no problem answering. And hey, hit the subscribe button. I guess now I'm saying that because we got 4 now. I'll take it. But right now, as we're wrapping up this episode, I felt like it was a good one. Right now, we got best bets for tomorrow's action. Now, I will say, after the last video, trust me, the last episode, I was struggling, guys. I was like 1-7 the last 8. But ever since the last video, I am now 9-1 the last 10, all basically, I think, on all college basketball and a little NBA action. So right now, I'm 9-1. I'm hot right now. Hopefully, I can find something hot again, as now we got conference tournaments going on. We still got NBA going on. And if you bet hockey, you bet hockey. I don't. Only time I bet hockey is when I know someone that I trust throws out a free pick, But Spencer, who do you have? Because you also had a little sprinkle in this past after the first episode.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I mentioned at the top, but I went 3-1 on my picks earlier last week. I hit Rockets money line against the Spurs. I had the over for the Sixers and Bucks. I had Manchester City earlier in the morning money line, and I was wrong on John Jones winning by decision, but I'll
give you a little credit. I'll give you a quarter. I'll give you a quarter of it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So for tomorrow, I'm not so well versed in some of these lesser tournaments of college basketball. I'm gonna start betting college basketball whenever March Madness and the brackets really get set. That's when my bets are gonna start going.
I'm hoping I got a game out in Sacramento. I'm hoping, depending on who falls. Falls in there.
Say if U of H gets to the Final Four, I've already told myself whatever credit card I need to put it on, I'm gonna
in Houston too.
You have to. That's a once in a lifetime thing. But I got 2 NBA plays for you tomorrow. Both of them I like the favorites. I like Clippers -3 versus Toronto. I think the Raptors are kind of starting to falter out. It's getting towards the end of the season. They're not contending.
The Raptors, they banked on. I just banged on them. Just yesterday with the +6.5. They played a hard-fought game against Denver. Now you're going to LA. You're probably, and the Clippers, they need to win. Because right now they've been struggling since Russell has been on part of their team. I'm not going to blame Russ for all that.
No, of course not. And I like the fact, and that was one thing that went into my decision making on that. Was the fact that the Raptors just covered their previous spread. Usually, you know how Vegas works. That's usually going to flip the next game. But on that note, though, my next pick, I love the Suns -11 against OKC. Okay. The Suns, it's only been 3 games so far, but they have covered the spread in every single game of the KD era.
Oh, is that game the home opener for KD? Because I know the last 3 games they played on the road.
I know it's a home game for them, so I think
that's probably the first one.
Yeah, so
I might be with you on that
-11. The OKC, they're pretending that they're contenders. I love SGA's game. He's averaging 30 a game.
SGA, wow.
He's awesome. That doesn't matter. The Suns right now, Vegas is still trying to figure them out. I think this is where the action at. And then my last pick, I love this one. Got a good bonus for you. I told you I was going to sprinkle some soccer in on you. How about the best player in the world, Lionel Messi and Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, as they're otherwise known, their money line tomorrow against Bayern Munich, one of the best clubs in the world, in the Champions League, plus 265. I have the best two players in the world because I include Mbappe and Messi in that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Why is it plus 265 for the best team in the world? I know Bayern's elite and all that, but give me that money. Give me that plus 265 for Lionel Messi to get the dub tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I like it. Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, Spencer. I looked at this lineup briefly. I like catching the early games because I don't like sweating at 6 p.m. my time for see if I have a positive day. I like to knock it out quick. I'm going Syracuse plus 2.5. It's the 8-9 series. The Syracuse is the 8 seed. They are the underdog. So I'm going plus 2.5 against Wake Forest. And then I will go George Mason money line over Richmond. Richmond just beat UMass like 71-33. They're on this high. They're the 12 seed beating on a 13. Now I got George Mason coming in, and I'll always ride some Cinderella story teams. But George Mason, they've been great. Looking at it, the last 10 games they've gone 6-4 against the spread, and then Richmond they just won, so now technically they've gone 3-8 the last 11. So those are my two. Again, follow Wild Wild West Sports Blog. Follow me and follow Spencer as well. Just look for my story. If I do add more picks, it might be just one or maybe two more. I still got to dive into some of this. I got to, so hopefully soon we start doing live broadcasts. We'll send out the picks the day of. We'll have to find out. Hopefully we'll get back soon. Once again, hey, Spencer, thank you for today. Hey, it's been a great couple topics. I can't wait for the next episode because guess what? We're not going nowhere. Hey, we're going to come back with more topics, more predictions, this and that. Let me and Spencer just rally up, this lineup of questions and topics to talk about. And guess what? We're going to come back and express our opinions on that. Spencer, you have anything else to say as we wrap this up?
Hey, man, I encourage you. Like he said, like, comment, subscribe everywhere you can, the drill. But yeah, I like that you throw in there, bring the hate on. I thrive on the hate, man. Yeah, bring it on. Hey, get me fired up. You want to see my face get real red and get me start yelling? Give me some hate. Give me some hate.
Come on. Hey, I respect all the friends and family that have been supporting us, but that's the soft love. We need that tough love, man. So hey, I'm rooting for the haters to come out. Don't worry. I'll have some shorts and some shorts and some reels posted on our IG and YouTube. I know Spencer will handle our TikTok. So hey, as always, fans, hey, y'all have a good night, man. Hey, and we'll see you soon for our March Madness bracket tournament details. Hey, y'all have a great night.